So let's start. Welcome to our presentation with the very long title, The Road from a 96 Progress Developer to a full stack OpenEdge web developer. We'll first introduce ourselves. My name is Gerd De Bruyckere. I'm software architect at Organi, located in Antwerp, the host city of the next PUG challenge. It's a little bit close to home, so that's a bit of a pity. I'm part of the R&D team, and I also deliver the support to our development team for about 35 people.
And I'm Glenn van den Hende. I also work at Organi in the development support, R&D, and also as a software engineer. And I work for 15 years at Organi.
The schedule for the session is to give a short presentation of our company, the journey we already did in web development, and the steps we are taking for the future. And I'm already giving away the frameworks we're going to use. We're going to use the Smart Component library of consulting work and the Rapid Cloud development for the front-end development. Our company was founded in 1976, so we're almost to the 50 years. And we're the oldest independent IT company in Belgium. We offer a one-stop shop for our customers, so they come to us for the software, but also for infrastructure, both on-premise and cloud infrastructure. We have expertise in 4 verticals. Those verticals are a bailiff application. It's always nice to have them on your side. There is a finance application, an ERP, and a logistics application because we're located close to the harbor in Antwerp. And we have integrated solutions over those 4 verticals, like a document information system. That's one of the integrated solutions. We have a big variety of modules that our customer can pick and use. You see here some of them. There's not all on the slide, but we'll focus today on the web and the mobile modules. And at Organi, we have some key values. We are very interested in partnerships based on knowledge and respect. Those are the key values. We're going to concentrate on the knowledge center and the innovative side of it. We're also very flexible, meaning that if our customer asks us to do something that's outside of our standard application, then we're going to go in discussion with our customer to finally come to an agreement, and then we make the adaptations to the software. And one of the most important things is we love the interaction human to human, and they are the key to our success. About 10-15 years ago, we were always in the late majority and the laggard section when adopting new software. The last years we're moving forward. We can't say we are innovators, but we are somewhere between the early adopters and the early majority.
I'm going to take you through the journey we had as a company since it was founded in 1977. In the early years, the company was mostly focused on hardware support for our customers. But then we did some development later on, first in COBOL, and then since 1995 using Progress. And we became one of the biggest Progress partners in the Benelux. And then going on through the years, the founders of Organi reached the retirement age. So there was a management buyout with a new management, with some a bit younger, some a bit older, but well-balanced management. Around that time, we started also looking at Fly to Pro and modernizing our Proshield framework that we've been using for many years. So the modernization of that started around that time. And then around 2019, the two oldest shareholders left. So the four remaining shareholders remained and formed some kind of a new management team. But we still feel all like one big family company, so it's still all, we feel really comfortable as an independent company, not a big corporation or something like that. And around that time, we started further modernization, looking at the consulting work framework. That was around that time. What are the big challenges we've gone through as a rather small company? We are on a strongly innovation-driven market. So we feel like we need to move on, to move to the web. Everyone is going to the web, so we need to get along. But yeah, doing all that research is a high cost for R&D. Because in the beginning we thought what you do yourself, you do it better. But it turned out that can be quite expensive and time consuming. So we also need to look at frameworks because we generally like to use frameworks. We want to stay an independent supplier and not be part of a big corporation. And the scale advantage because we're a relatively small company, also in a small country, so with a limited customer basis. So we need to find a game plan, and that plan has grown over the past 5 or 10 years. So I'm going to talk you through these years. Our company had made some acquirements. So we've acquired Softpak. So they are now our sister company, and we can share some knowledge with them. We can learn from them. They can learn from us. We've acquired FidelitySoft, an ERP vendor, so for further knowledge and customer expansion. And this will probably continue in the next few years, but always taking into account that it needs to fit with the spirit of the company, with the strategy. This is a diagram of the markets. Softpak and Organi combined are servicing. So Softpak is mostly servicing the logistics market with all kinds of containers and terminals and customs. And together with Organi, with also the ERP, the finance, the bailiffs, it's quite a broad market that we can service. So talking about the scale advantage with these acquisitions, we've gotten a bit better scale advantage, a higher total revenue, more customers, a bigger spread. So also in the Netherlands, and Softpak also having some customers outside of this, like in Ireland. We're more team players, and we do have a high customer retention, so that's it's great to have. Here are some happy customers of Organi, and also some customers of Softpak.
So let's talk about more about going to the web. The first thing we did was looking to Progress, if they had something for the web. Unfortunately, there was nothing really that suited our applications. So we have done throughout the years a lot of development ourselves. I don't know in what language that was written, but it looks very old. This was ASP, another one in ASP. It was ASP.NET. This was our mobile solution with the Sencha framework. That's the eShop that we're using now with PHP and Laravel. And we have some applications written in Angular. Our friends from the Softpak, they made applications built with Ionic and Angular. So you can see we have a lot of technologies that we used throughout the years, but we wanted to have our one solution for that. What were our experiences? Yeah, Glenn already told, high R&D cost. If you're building it all yourself, it takes a lot of time. We have to say we are not full stack developers. We have about 30 Progress developers that are that only know Progress, so they don't know anything about HTML, CSS, JavaScript. So that was a very hard thing to do because we needed a front-end team to do all that work. If you're doing it all by yourself, there's a long throughput time when beginning the project and delivering it. We had disturbed communication between the teams. We have our back-end developers who know a lot about the business, but they don't have any notion about the front end, and vice versa. The front-end people don't know anything about the back-end. The front-end people, they use the APIs and the REST APIs that the backend wrote. They need to have some changes to the backend that wasn't calculated in the project time. So it was always going back and forward between the front-end team and the development team. It's like a game of table tennis. And as I said before, we are not a framework builder. We love to use frameworks. It helps us develop faster. But yeah, you have to be honest, we are not a framework builder. So we made some conclusions. First, towards our customers, the expectation of our customers have changed enormously. They want cheaper solutions, they want it faster. If they ask something, they want it tomorrow. They don't want it in a few months. So it has to be really fast to deliver. And we needed to create more volume because of the higher costs. There was a pressure on our income. So we needed more volume to compensate that. And towards our employees, we don't want to throw away all the Progress knowledge they have. We needed to have something modern. And we wanted to take away the concern of our developers because now they are developing the screens and the backend. And we wanted to take away that they were just becoming only backend developers. They wanted to have the freedom to make screens again, but in the web that was a little bit difficult. And we wanted to bring those teams closer together. So Glenn is going to talk about the steps we made to make it all happen.
So what we do is we listen to the customers. We sometimes have customer meetings with customers from the same markets to share ideas with them. We listen to their needs. We learn from that. We apply that knowledge to everything we make. We want to make technological improvements. We want an affordable open system so that we can look into it if something goes wrong, that we can extend it if we need to. We want a modern platform for the future, so that we can keep on using it for the years to come and not have to switch again every few years. We also for the builds and deployments, so we want that to be modernized as well. We want to invest in knowledge, both inside and outside of Progress, so that we can use open source technology, that we can rely on the communities behind that. And we want to use tools with a proven track record, but also if we think something is great to use, we want to dare to jump. So next, we look at our internal organization as a house. The house is an architecture. The architecture is the knowledge through training, participating in conferences. We want to learn about cloud concepts, Docker, CI/CD, all that stuff, so that we can make a well-informed decision on what to use, what can be useful for us. We want to learn about data solutions, about big data, BI, AI perhaps. Then we have the bricks of the house. These are the smaller teams with their own responsibility. So we need to define those responsibilities and get them to be experts in their responsibilities. And then finally there is the cement. The cement brings those teams together. Inside work, also outside work, with sports events or other team events. So we need to make choices, and for the backend, we chose a smart component library because we like working with object-oriented code and with a multi-layered architecture. So that's why this is a great choice for us. It also offers interfaces for REST APIs, documentation through Swagger. So it's all in there. We don't have to do all that stuff ourselves. So this is the layer structure that I was talking about. So that's what we want to have in our applications: a data layer, a business layer, and the front end and the interfaces in between, so that we can access the business layer from different user interfaces. This shows the round trip. If you make a request from a browser into the smart component library, goes through the interface layer, the business logic will fetch the data, go to the data access layer, which actually talks to the database, fills the data sets. The data goes back, gets enriched, serialized, and back to the browser. For the front end, we've chosen rapid cloud development. The main reason we've chosen this is that it enables our OpenEdge developers to build a front end. The customization for the front end is also using OpenEdge code, so any screen logic you need to write for hiding fields, enabling fields, all that stuff is easy to do for an OpenEdge developer. You don't need to know any HTML, CSS, JavaScript for that. It's got a designer to draw the screens, which is easy to learn and easy to use. It's also enabling us to make components and reuse them whenever we need, both for the screens and endpoints. This is a diagram for how to use how it works. So the browser, which runs the portal of the rapid cloud development, where your web application is running, will talk to your PaaS-OE through a firewall or Nginx service. The PaaS-OE will have a web handler class, one central class, and this one will call into the right procedure. So whatever the web interface asked, that procedure will be run. All of this can run in a Docker container. So this is how it works, but at Organi we wanted to bring it a bit further and to make it more suited to our needs. We wanted to use the consulting work Smart Component Library backend, but that would mean that every procedure needs to be modified to call into the backend. So to make that easier for our developers, we made a layer in between. And we made it with an object-oriented implementation so that all different kinds of endpoints can have easy generated classes through a code generator that makes it really easy for a developer to do all kinds of standard stuff like getting data, saving data, making lists for combo boxes, stuff like that. So that's the layer in between that we made. This is an example of the code. On the left side is what is provided by default by Rapid Cloud Development, and it makes it easy to prototype stuff. But we felt like we want to use more object orientation, so we are going to write everything in classes. So on the right side is what remains of our procedure file. It calls into the classes we generate. And these classes are made with an inheritance structure. This is the specific class for one business entity and one kind of endpoint. So there's the grid def endpoint, which defines what the grid should look like, which columns, which general settings. And it contains code like that. So I don't know if it's readable for the back rows, but the code says that we want to define the columns of the grid based on a temp table, which contains all the database fields and also additional calculated fields. We say which columns we want as default visible, or which ones we do not want the user to see. We can add some additional settings to the columns that are generated in that method, like showing a badge. The base class in the middle, which contains all stuff for our Organi applications, which is shared for our applications, contains stuff like filtering. So for filter fields, we have some general tables that define we can filter on this table, on that field. It should look like this. So it defines all those filters that will be shown inside the grid. And then there's a final base class which will handle the inputs and outputs, the communication with the Rapid Cloud web handler, so that the right data set is given to it, which then turns into JSON and goes to the front end, which does all the work. And now Gerd will give a demonstration of the Rapid Cloud and the Smart Component Library.
Yep, it will be a live demo. I'm taking the risk. It will take about half an hour. We will go through the Rapid Cloud just to get a notification of it, and then we're gonna build an application from scratch, building the business entities in the Smart Component Library and go through it through the Rapid Cloud Development Framework, and yeah, let us know afterwards what you think about it. First of all, I'm gonna start in the Rapid Cloud development. I have my Google Chrome browser up and running, and I'll go into the Rapid Cloud Designer. Sorry. I have several projects that I can choose from to work on, and I can go through all my users that are defined or are allowed to work with the application. And the application we're going to show is a training project that we use for new developers. We developed our own project, and it's an application for car maintenance. So when a new developer comes in the company, he gets the basic OpenEdge training, and then he gets a modified training by us when he goes into the Vroom application that it's called. And he's going to build screens going from normal Progress windows to the GUI for .NET Windows, and with all the techniques that he learned in the previous OpenEdge courses. This is the designer, and I'm going to open a grid. And this is the app, and you see on the left-hand side, I have all kind of objects that I can use to drag and drop on my screen. So you have an immediate look of how your application will look like. And in this particular program, I have a grid with a filter container. And with a grid, there's always two things you have to fill in. There's a definition file. There's the file for what columns have to be shown and so on. And then a procedure for the grid data to fetch the data and show it to the user. I'm not going into all the properties because there are a lot. On the right-hand side, I have a form where I can put fields from the temp table, and I can drag and drop it into the screen. For example, if I want my row ID data to be shown, I just drag and drop it, I save it, and then I can open it in the portal. And this is how the screen looks like. I can switch through my records, and the right-hand side is changing accordingly. I can have tabs in there. And this table will be used later on in the application, and that's the type of persons is like the CEO or an employee or construction worker, for example. And one of the features, and it's not an important feature, but is you can change the complete look and feel by choosing another theme color. For example, I want to have it more purple, so everything is changed in one click. And it goes throughout your whole application. So let's start now with building a complete new screen. So we'll start in the Business Entity Designer. I have my database, the Vroom database, connected, and I want to add the persons table to it. The first thing he asks me is what indexes do you want to take over in your temp table? And default is the primary key, so I'll leave it like that. And I create a visual representation of my database table. The representation is your temp table that is going to be generated. And first thing I have to do, I'm going to update the business entity package to say in what folder I need to place this. I'll save this. He asks me to if you want to change it also for your temp table, where the package should be. So I say yes, and I save the diagram. For the demo purposes, I have to get some calculated fields. So I'm going to edit those fields. And I'm going to add the row ID data. This is the field that is absolutely necessary to work with the Rapid Cloud Development Framework. I'm just going to fill in the format, save that. And I'm going to add two fields when I'm going to do something with it later on. A map data, where I'm going to show addresses on a map view with pins on it. And I'm going to add a batch data, and that will become clear later on what it will be used for. Press OK, then you see that there are 3 fields added to the temp table. Can save it again, can validate my design. It says it succeeded. And then I can start generating it. And he generates the include files for the temp table, for the data set. You get a bunch of classes that you can use for the data set model. You have a table model where your whole temp table is in a class with properties. And you can also test it from within the business entity designer. So I can go to the business entity tester. I click on the get the data, and that's the data that I'm getting out of my database. Notice that the 3 calculated fields are still empty. I haven't done anything with it. So I have to adjust this in the data access layer. So let's do that. And I am lost. Where is my class? That's why you never should do live demos. Yeah, here it is. In the data access class, I think you all know about the callback procedures or methods that you have on data sets. So there is, when the class is generated, it generates already for me a define read events method that is overwritten from the underlying classes. And there I can adjust it to the tables that I used. So now I have filled up the row ID data. If I go back to the business entity tester and I run it again, then you will see that the field of the row ID data is filled up. I'm going to add some code for the remaining 2. And I'm going to steal this from my code snippets. So what have I added? When the field, the logical field of the table is active, is true, then I'm going to add in my batch data the word active. If not, I'm going to add the not active. And I'm going to add I'm going to fill up the club field with the JSON structure for that the Rapid Cloud needs for showing an address on a map view. I'm giving it the street and the city, the country, the postal code. I'm saying if there has to be a label on the pin, should the pin be shown at startup, and what color should the pin be? This is saved, going back to the business entity tester, and you see that all those fields are filled up. So far, so good. We've done our work in the smart component library, so I can close this. And Glenn talked about the structured layer that we put in between our own OO implementation of the rapid cloud development. And he wrote also a generator. It's not a fancy screen, but I just have to fill in the package, the table name, the title of the app, the module author, and I can say generate the code. And he generates me all the .p's that I need for the Rapid Cloud, all the classes that I need. And he also gives me the structure files for the apps. Every app in the Rapid Cloud development is a JSON representation. So you can save it on disk. You can do version control on it in your Git, for example. So that's added. Let's go now to the Rapid Cloud and open that one. And here you see those two structure files, the person grid and the person details. And to show you that I'm not cheating on anything, you'll see the date that it was created was today, about a minute ago. If I open this grid or this app, I have a pre-default preset grid on it. So I can run this also in the portal. If I go to the menu, oh, that's the wrong one, sorry. Maintenance of the persons. Then you see that it's already working without doing anything on the front end. So let's fancy this a little bit up. On the left-hand side, you have the column chooser that's default in, and you have the client-side filtering for every column. That's available, but we're going to do some server-side filtering. And one way to do it is in the Rapid Cloud. You have the ability to add fields to a filter container. For example, the form group and an input field. The form group I will give a name, filter name, and the field in it, I will call that filter name. I'll save this, reload the app. And you see that I have another filter tab on here with the filter name. Unfortunately, it's not doing anything because I don't have anything done in the backend to fetch that filter. But you see that every filter is shown above the grid, and you can easily switch them off if you don't need them anymore. So let's go to the back. And I'm gonna look for it. I have the person grid data and the person grid def here. And I'm going to fetch the filter from the web request, the query string, and I'm going to add it to the JSON filter. We added in the Smart Component library an option to pass a JSON structure to the fetch data request, and with that, with the column name and the value, and then he filters it based on that structure. So we're going to do this here also. The name. Begins, or let's say we do a matches substitute. And I have to add the name of the control that I used there. So I change that, go back to the front end, fill in a filter, and I get now two results back of that. One at the front and one somewhere in between. So that is how you do filtering from the Rapid Cloud development itself. You also can add filters from the backend. So that's be done in the grid definitions. And when the classes are generated, there's always an example. So that we can use that. And we're going to filter on the city. And that's a character field. And we're going to also add this in the grid data, so the filtering will take place. Filter city. And let's go back to the portal. We reload the app. He wants to. Yeah, he's there. So now I have added the filter from the backend side. So I can say here, I want everything from Brussels. I get everything from Brussels. And I want the filtering on the name. I have two records that are beginning here with the LI. So, and if you want to get rid of those filters, you just close them at the top of your grid. One thing we have here on the back is that batch data, and we want to make that a little bit more fancy. So let's make that actually a batch. So what we have to do there is I have to add in the definitions. I'm saying if the column name is batch data, then add some HTML code for that batch data. And that's the only place where you can add some CSS or HTML for it. And in the grid data, we're gonna do the coloring of the badges. And we're gonna loop through our records. When the person is active, then we're gonna set the fill color, the text color, and we give that to the Rapid Cloud, saying with that row ID data, you need to fill the batch data and so on. Reload this. And now I'm hoping I'm seeing batches at the end. So here you see that it's more a fancier way of showing your data. Remember that I added the map data field, so we're gonna change the layout of our app. There are a lot of predefined layouts, but we'll take a simple one. And we're gonna add here a map field. We'll make that full height. And we'll give that the data source, and I want the data coming from the, should wear my glasses. The selected row data from the grid here, and the data field is the map data field. Save it. Reload the app. You have a map. And the first record is selected. It's having a blue pin. Remember that we did that in the code. And the pin is already shown with a label, and I said it should be the name of it. And when I scroll through it, the map is changing. So you can easily go through some modifications you make, and when you do that, you get very nice apps that you can build. And next we're gonna do, he also created a detail record or a detail app, but for the moment now that's empty. So we're gonna fancy that up. We go back to the Rapid Cloud. We close the grid, and we open the details. And what I can do here is I'm gonna use a splitter. And do a simple vertical, is that he takes up all the space at the bottom. And I'm gonna add some fields. I have here all my columns, and I'm just gonna add the name on it. I'll have a tab here. I can add multiple tabs. For example, HR. This. And on my first tab, I'm gonna add some fields as well. I want the street, postal code, the place, country, and I place it on there. And the type of person, remember that was the first table that I showed you, the person sort. That's one. And on the tab of the HR, I'm gonna add some more fields, for example, the telephone and the email, and some extra info. Let's take a look what this looks like. So I have the name on top. I have the first tab. I have my HR tab, and it's filled out with the data from the grid. So a form detail always have a record get and a record set procedure linked to it. So what can we do next? You have here the ID, but it would be nice to see the text and the code. So let's change that. This was an input field, so I can change it very easily to another field. And let's say we want it to be an autocomplete, and I'm gonna say you use this the items. What? Oh, okay, sorry. I'm on the wrong tab. It was this field. Change it in an autocomplete. And I'm just gonna redo what I did here. You know what? Let's make this an HTML editor. Taking some risks now. With a height of 300 pixels. The autocomplete, and I say this is the person list. So he will fill this up with the items from the other table. Let's save this. Double click, and now you don't see the code anymore, just as a number, but you see here there is the text and the code. And if I press the arrow down, I get the complete list from that other table. And here, but I will take a good example where there is some here, this record. And you see here an HTML editor where I can put in some text with headers, with coloring, and so on. Let's say we make this person the CEO. This is saved, and at the moment of the save, he's doing also a broadcast to all the other apps that are open and have that record on a screen somewhere. Not only in my browser, but also in the browser of other people who are using those records. So this is the demo that I wanted to show you. I think it's a very powerful product. So go see the session of Peter Kiss, and Glenn will take us to some conclusions.
So we conclude with the choice we made, rapid cloud development. On the left side you see the Smart Components library. That's what we are going to use at Organi for the backend. On the right side you see ProWeb. That's the backend that Softpak had made already. So they're going to use that backend. So that's also what my classes, my backend classes allow, to use multiple backends if you need to. We are planning to embed this in a C# browser inside our desktop applications, so that we can make new applications with this and replace older applications one by one, but not have to rewrite the whole application at once first. So this will allow to integrate that. And we're also looking at progressive web apps to make with the Rapid Cloud, for making it for mobile scanners or stuff like that, mobile apps. So yeah, the multiple backends, and this is all a work in progress and with progress. How difficult is this? People with the right OpenEdge knowledge, like object orientation and datasets, can be up and running in a matter of days. What you see here is a screen that we made on day 3 of our when we first learned to work with the Rapid Cloud development. So only a few days of learning already allowed us to make something like this. So I think that should show that it's really easy to learn. So in conclusion, it's also easy to reuse old code, so we don't need to rewrite everything at once. If we've got some classes that do useful stuff, we can just call them and reuse them. You can build your own reusable components, so anything you make once you can use many times. And this allows a Progress developer to become a full stack developer, so with no knowledge of web technology. Other types of web applications are at your fingertips, like warehouse apps on scanners and web portals. So that's the other capabilities of the rapid cloud development to make other kinds of apps. It all works in a browser. So if you've got a browser with internet access, you can make it. And the user interface is fully backend driven in OpenEdge code. The rest is configuration UI. So that means what we haven't shown in the demo, but what you can also do is like user event triggers. If a user sets a value, changes a value, does something, then you can call into an endpoint, say I want this other field to get that value, or I want it to become visible or invisible or enabled. All that stuff can be written in OpenEdge code. So this was our presentation, and we recommend you to check out these other sessions about rapid cloud development right after this, and Smart Component Library in the afternoon. Do you have any questions? Yes?
You've talked a lot about benefits, but were there also some struggles or downsides to the approach of going to rapid cloud? Or
are there any downsides going to rapid cloud? Not immediately, if I think about it. Well, the fact is, of course, you are making a web application, so you can't make your desktop applications one-on-one like a web application. If you've got a screen full of widgets, then you need to rethink your layouts. You need to think about how am I going to do some stuff on a PSOE that you would otherwise do on a desktop. That's maybe a drawback for some applications, but if you want to make a web application, then I think this is a great way to do it. And
the only thing we had is that you had a procedural code that is delivered out of the box. Yeah, we changed that to OO to comply with modern standards. So that is the work that you have to do yourself. But yeah, it's all progress, and that's the things that we know the best. So that was the thing that we changed for ourselves. But Peter is mainly focusing on the front end side. So just because of the fact that you go in the back end, you can do it all in Progress. That's less fancier than the front end side. Any more questions?
yes.
Have you had any Progress developers trying to do Angular? Or did you jump right away to this rapid cloud development?
No, we have the question was if we had any developers who tried Angular. We showed some screens in the slides. We have some applications mostly internally that are working in Angular and connecting to a REST API. But there we were struggling a lot with the throughput time. It would take a long time. Also, the front-end team must learn how to use the Angular, so that took a lot of time. And that's time we can eliminate now with this, because it is all generated, and you can drag and drop it yourself. So it was a lot easier for us to do. Oh, I see we're running out of time. So if you have any more questions, please come see us afterwards. And thank you for your attention.